come into the park, the first thing that you do is you're listening, because you're waiting to hear the music. You know, you're listening for like the low end rumble of the bass. You're listening because you want the reassurance that something didn't happen, that everybody's actually going to be there, because you kind of can't see the top of the hill yet.
I heard the thumping. I heard the thumping. I was like, oh snap, we about to get it in.
The minute you walk in, it's joy. Pure joy.
Soul Summit was created and founded by myself, Sadiq Bellamy, Taboo, and Jeff Mendoza in 2002. I believe we met for the first time in Taboo's living room, right in Bed-Stuy. All three of us were accustomed to the outdoor music freedom that permeated New York City in the 70s. So we kind of missed that. It was a vacuum in New York City for free outdoor music events. And that's kind of how it came about. We wanted to fill the void. The concept was that all good things happen at the summit. And we envisioned Fort Greene Park, and you have to walk up to get to Fort Greene Park, to the monument, and you're meeting as a family, as a community at the summit. The atmosphere in Fort Greene was similar, but obviously a lot more folk of color living in the Fort Greene, Clinton Hill area. In fact, that's the very reason I moved to the area. I heard of this onset, a burgeoning Black Renaissance, if you will, reoccurring in Brooklyn. And out of college, I was hearing these stories. Nelson George, Chris Rock, Spike Lee, everyone is in this area here, and I wanted in.
One of the things about it being in public space, open air and free, is that it's intergenerational, super diverse. You know, anyone that wants to come out and hang out in the park, whether you want to dance or not, you would have a good time there. There's people picnicking all around the dance floor. There's people just socializing. There's people cruising.
Just seeing the children dance, seeing the Voguers getting it in, like the old wave Voguers, seeing like the poppers getting it in, like OG poppers and like hip hop heads and B-boys and girls, but all within house music. But then they switched to club classics, so that's also very important as well.
There's two types of house dance. There's house dance as it's taught in the studio, and then there's house dance as it's experienced in the club. As it's experienced in the club is free form. So it's really a matter of whatever you bring to the table, as long as it works with the music and expresses how you feel, is valid. Basically what it kind of became was the family reunion.
I mean, some people came here one year single, the following year they were married. The year after that, they were pregnant. The year after that, the toddler came. Then they were the new moms who kind of like clicked together. There's the new moms. Every year, you just look forward to coming to the park to seeing these people that you had not seen in a whole year.
Soul Summit provides that warmth. You feel it when you're here. Once you enter, you're safe. Your children are safe. Your family. You're safe. Your ideas are safe. Your identity is safe. You see all the myriad of expressions here at Soul Summit.
To me, Soul Summit feels like almost a religious experience.
There's a thing in Black culture where dance and music and celebration and spirituality are all interwoven.
It's an event that's about fellowship in a way that I think for a lot of people, church provided that space. For a lot of people that didn't find acceptance in the church, you know, because of queer identity or whatnot, would find certain salvation, you know, you could say, or community on the dance floor or at these parties. It was where they developed this kind of kinship.
You can't tell the history of house music without Black people. You can't tell the history of house music without queer, LGBTQ. You know, you cannot, if you try to tell it without those groups, you are telling a lie, a bold-faced and entire lie.
significance of Soul Summit, as I see it, or what I research and write about, is what it means to have an event that is in public space in a historically Black neighborhood that has been, for all intents and purposes, disappearing.
It used to be every weekend. And then when gentrification hit, it slowed down.
The spear tip of gentrification, after you get through the artist moving in, the next thing is the noise complaints. Everybody moves for the culture, and then all of a sudden it's too loud.
No one really wanted to use the park. And it wasn't until around 2007 that the park started getting regulated. You started needing security plans, permits, park permits, sound permits, insurance, right? Which for a grassroots event like Soul Summit, they're not making money off of this event. This is the other thing. It's a social service in a way, right? This is social infrastructure that they are building for free.
With the restrictions and the change and them trying to kind of like shut it down, it was a complaint about cleaning up. And we always cleaned up after ourselves. We're so adamant about leaving this park cleaner than when we walked in, and give you no reason. Bring it. Because no matter what you do, we're going to do one better.
From going from a Black community to a gentrified community where our culture is being policed, I'm livid. Not only is that being policed, but what I hate is that people are coming in and affecting that culture. They're fetishizing that culture. You know how it is, like, we got the sauce and everybody wants the sauce.
I would like Soul Summit to be remembered for the cultural magnet that it is, that we have the capacity to bring together thousands and thousands upon thousands of people without incidents for next year it'll be 20 years.
It is the last pushback. It's the last large pushback against the change that gentrification has wrought.
To have Soul Summit, for me, it's important because there's not a lot of spaces that we have anymore. Many spaces try to create that aesthetic, but it's just not the same.
At the end of the day, folks who are from this neighborhood, Black folks from this neighborhood, as well as Black folks moving into this neighborhood, I trust in them to just remember that this is community. And the things that we love so much about this community, the only way we can keep that and the only way it can continue is if we protect that community and we protect that culture.